Hi, I'm Effie and this is What Effie Reads. Over the course of the last couple of weeks, I've been working through some of Lucy Foley's work, as I know that the Paris apartment comes out in a couple of days and I wanted to get to know her work. So this video is kind of a vlog, kind of book review. It's a little bit of everything, but hopefully you'll come on this journey with me and see how I got on with reading some of Lucy Foley's works.
I was lost, but you helped me find my way. Tainted by a desire, 'cause I was scared to face the truth. You pulled me out from my anxiety. When the wind comes in, pull our time. On my knees I went when you crossed my mind, and so the seasons right, so I fall behind. When the wind comes in, I cross your mind.
The first Lucy Foley that I'm going to read is The Invitation. Now, this is kind of odd because it's been on my shelves for years and I never twigged until quite recently that this is the same author as The Dinner Guest and The Hunting Party. I think that's what they're called. But I think part of that is, at least the impression I get from the cover and the blurb, is that this is historical fiction. I could be wrong. I'll probably check in a little bit later once I actually know what's going on with it. But I thought I'd start with this because this is probably going to be the most different of the books. I think my plan is to try and read the 3 that I already own, and then if I have a bit of time afterwards, I think there's a Lucy Foley available on Kindle Unlimited, and then I think there's also some on Scribd, but I won't be able to listen to them until the start next month. So anyway, let's get cracking with this one.
Tell me now, is it true? Spend some time thinking through all the things I dreamt but didn't do. And the night by the moon, I could never believe, so I chose to testify the truth. But if you take me back to the start, do you really want to be that thorn in my heart? And if you take me back to the start, I will never break your heart.
So I've managed to make it through the first chapter of The Invitation, and obviously I'm only 30 pages in. I'm not feeling that compelled by the story. I'm finding that I'm sort of losing my place. And I don't really know what's going on. But I think part of that is that I don't see pictures when I read. It's only very recently that I realised that it's not terribly common for that to be the case. It's just that confirmation bias has made me think that it was fairly common for people not to see pictures. So anyway, because I don't see them, all of this like is spending a lot of time like establishing what it's like to be in Italy, and I'm getting nothing out of it. I'm not 100% sure what the book's about. I think it's possibly going to be about this kind of love affair that's quite complicated. I am a little bit intrigued by Hal and the woman, Stella. I'm intrigued by both of their characters. I think there's a lot to them that hopefully we'll find out as the story progresses. But as I say, the large amounts of time it's spent kind of building atmosphere, I can imagine if you're the kind of person that sees pictures when you read a book, you get a lot out of that, because I can see what it's trying to do. Just unfortunately, I don't see any of it. So I feel like this video has not gone how I expected. I'm still on the first book, still having a really hard time pushing through it. Like, I want to like it and just not. I think it's a very character-driven book, and that is difficult because the characters are not likable. Which makes it very, very challenging. I'm almost at the halfway mark, and from what I can pick up, it's about a guy that becomes obsessed with a woman after they have a one-night stand, and then the woman's in a kind of abusive relationship. I don't really know. I'm kind of intrigued by the woman's backstory, and like a lot less intrigued, but like a bit intrigued by the man's backstory as well. But I feel like either they're going to drag on the reveal of their backstories for another 200 pages, or we're going to get those backstories soon, and then there's not going to be like a reason for me to continue with the book, because that's what's keeping me intrigued for the moment. But I think what I'm probably going to do is give this book maybe until the end of today, and then I'm going to put it down, because I'm never going to get the other two books read if I continue trying to push through with this one. I'm trying to think if I had any other particular feelings about it. It's mostly like it has gotten better as I've progressed with the book, but it's nowhere near as gripping as I thought. And like apparently it's shelved as like mystery and thriller, but I don't know if that's just because this is a Lucy Foley book and people think that because it's Lucy Foley it will be mystery and thriller. Because okay, there's a little bit of mystery to like people's backstories, but not really, not in the way that I think of as a mystery thriller. It's a lot more like a romance, but a romance that shouldn't be happening because the woman is married. I don't know, maybe something will happen in the next like few pages and it'll all make sense. But it's been a real slog. Like, it doesn't usually take me anywhere near this amount of time to get through a book. I don't know. I'm sure I have some more thoughts on it, but right now none of them are coming to me. But at least I've finally filmed an update on this book, even if it is a slightly negative one.
From the stars, galaxies, supernova, to the sun's warming light reaching our hearts. I can tell every color I see in your eyes, like the ocean's deep. And it's true, you're someone I don't ever wanna lose. You're someone I don't ever wanna lose. When the rain keeps falling down, I'll be there, I'll be around, taking all your pain away. Tell me, would you do the same? 'Cause I'm into you, baby, it's the truth. And I like to see the flowers bloom. 'Cause when the rain keeps falling down, I swear I'll always be around.
So it's Sunday night. This video is meant to go up on Tuesday evening though, so I've got a bit of time. And was it Tuesday? No, Wednesday. Okay, I've got a bit more time than I thought, but still, it is Tuesday. What am I saying? Let's start again. It is Sunday night. This video is meant to go up on Wednesday evening, and I've literally read just under half of one Lucy Foley book. That's not good. I am thinking I'm going to DNF it. My script renews on the 1st, so what I might do is, if I have time before this video goes up, listen to the second half of the book as an audiobook, because I feel like I may get on better with it as an audiobook because I've got something propelling me forward. But as a physical book, I'm just having such a struggle. But my plan is to read The Guest List and The Hunting Party. I think that's what they're called. I keep forgetting their titles because they've got, I guess, kind of generic thriller names. I'm very interested to see what I think. But also, I made this slightly silly decision, but not, because I'm really enjoying it, of starting 56 Days and starting watching Euphoria. But I'm determined to get this video up for Wednesday evening. So what may happen is this video becomes a little bit less kind of vloggy. I will keep it informal, but I won't be able to do updates as I'm reading or as I'm listening to the audiobooks. What I may end up having to do is just kind of listen to the two audiobooks and kind of give my reviews and thoughts at the end or start. I don't know. I mean, if you like this sort of chaos, like, please subscribe to me, because this is kind of like on brand level of chaos for me. Especially starting with a book that is like lesser known and less of a guarantee that I would vibe with it. Like, I know I enjoy thrillers generally, and my critiques of thrillers tend to be more to do with like writing style or plotting or whatever. But going into The Invitation, which is kind of a historical fiction romance. I think it's a romance. I don't actually know what it is. I think it's just historical fiction. But that also says a lot about the book, that halfway through, I couldn't tell you what the book actually is. But yeah, in retrospect, I probably should have started with the thrillers and read The Invitation last, especially as literally everyone tells me the thrillers are quick reads. But I'm going to get on, try and read 56 Days, maybe watch some more Euphoria because I'm obsessed. I'm 2 episodes in and I just want to binge like every single episode now. And I will be back when I've got updates. As I say, I'm temporarily DNFing The Invitation. So the next one should be, I think, The Hunting Party. I'm reading them in release order. So if The Hunting Party is the next one that she released, that will be the next book that I read. So I finally started on a different Lucy Foley book last night, or early hours of this morning. I'm now reading The Hunting Party, and I've got a couple of thoughts. Well, a few actually. The first is it's a lot quicker. Like, it's already drawing me in. I'm maybe about 5% in, and like, I'm intrigued. I want to know more. But then I guess that's thrillers for you. So I'm liking that. The second thing is that so far it's feeling like a lot of characters. Like, it's a little hard to keep track of who's who. But I do suspect that as the book progresses and you see, like, you get to know who the point of views are, it'll probably, like, be a bit easier to keep track and things will start to make sense. At least that's what I'm hoping. And then the third thing is that this area is reminding me so much of Applecross. I spent a weekend up there once. I don't know, like, a few years ago, I went up to Applecross and they had, like, the exact situation of, like, if there was, like, heavy snow or bad weather, the roads would close and you'd literally be cut off. Like, you could literally see the Isle of Skye from the coast of Applecross. So beautiful, so remote. And yeah, it's giving me all of those vibes. I have to say, I'm starting to enjoy The Hunting Party a little bit less. I think because none of the characters feel particularly likable. Like, I don't think you're meant to like them, but in a thriller, I feel like you need a bit of sympathy. I'm not sure which character dies. I don't know if like, I'm meant to know which character dies, but right now, like, it's not a good thing to, like, hope that it's all of the characters, which obviously, like, I know it's not all of the characters because there's a single body, but they're just so unlikable. But I think at the same time that makes it quite good in the sense that you feel like anyone could be the murderer. So I'm pretty near the end of the guest list and I'll probably update when I get home, but I just thought I'd give a bit of an update on The Hunting Party and the guest list. So I think it's pretty cool how both of them have, like, the victim also being a mystery. That was a pretty cool little quirk to it. But I do think that the guest list has done it a lot better than The Hunting Party. I found that the characters were really unlikable in The Hunting Party, which made it really hard to enjoy the story. But I didn't dislike it and I definitely enjoyed the end. Like, I'm sure I'll have, like, more put together thoughts later. But I definitely think I'm going to be interested in reading The Paris Apartment at some point. And Lucy Foley could be a thriller author I enjoy. But it will be interesting to see how I get on with a different Lucy Foley in the future. The guest list has had some good, like, surprises for me. And some of it was a little bit predictable, but as I say, also some great surprises. And as I say, I will update fully when I get home. So that's me home now and finished with the guest list. In fact, I actually finished very, very soon after my last update. So I think I talked about most of my issues that I had with the hunting party in my last update, but essentially, like, I did enjoy the ending, but I just thought that the fact that both the victim and the murderer was a mystery for like the vast majority of the book took something away from it for me. Because part of the fun of a thriller is being able to like guess who's done it and like come up with all these theories. Whereas I just didn't feel like there was space to do that. And then the other thing that I didn't like was that the characters felt like they'd been written older than they were. Like, I'm fairly sure the characters were all meant to be like around my age, possibly even a little bit younger. I'm not sure, but they felt like a good decade older than me. Um, but I do appreciate the unique thing of like you don't know who the victim is till towards the end. And that was certainly something that I enjoyed with the guest list was you still had this format of we don't know who the victim is and obviously we don't know who the murderer is. But what Foley did well is that it felt like there were a lot more like secrets and mystery and intrigue in the guest list. So whilst you didn't know who'd been killed and who was the killer, you were able to come up with theories about all these different secrets that the different guests had, which I really enjoyed. A couple of them I guessed, and a couple of them came as a surprise, which was great. I think it was really interesting as well that your cast of characters was actually incredibly similar between the guest list and the hunting party, but something about them was a lot more engaging. I was a lot more intrigued by them. And I also felt as if the way they were written was more authentic to their age. So the 19-year-old character, in my mind, felt 19, and the characters in their 30s felt like they were in their 30s, which was nice. Like it was so jarring to me in the hunting party that I really noticed in the guest list that these characters were done well. Another thing that like it's such a little thing, but like it meant a lot to me, and like obviously like it had importance to the plot and stuff. But there was a point where I think he was 34, something like that. This older man was like eyeing up a 19-year-old, and it was immediately like shot down as being inappropriate. And I just thought that was quite refreshing to see. Like, I feel like often it's not acknowledged, especially when the characters are over 18 and it's seen as okay, but there's still that massive age gap. So I did appreciate that it wasn't just like brushed off as being okay. Hi, editing me, just popping in because I realised that in the invitation, there's actually like a moment where the characters are discussing girls that are in school, but like they're 18, so it's okay kind of thing. And it just made me really, really uncomfortable. So I think it's interesting to see that contrast between like Lucy Foley in the invitation, where there's that, versus Lucy Foley in the guest list, where there's this other side of things. So, as I said earlier, I definitely think I want to read The Paris Apartment. I do think that I'm seeing a massive difference in like Foley's work from The Invitation, which I DNF'd. It just didn't engage me like at all. And then The Hunting Party, it was definitely an improvement on the invitation, but it just lacked a certain something. And then the guest list felt like it brought in a lot of really good elements and was really engaging. So I guess watch this space, subscribe, because at some point in the future I will be reading The Paris Apartment. And I think that's all from me, really. Until next time, bye.
There's a place